Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a linguistic journey. It's custom tailored for you if you're an English speaker. We're looking at English, German, and Dutch grammar, side by side.
Right.
Our mission here is basically to pull out the key insights from the sources on, let's say, 5 core grammar ideas.
Yeah, 5 key ones.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
We want to see where they line up and maybe more importantly, where they, go their separate ways.
Uh-huh.
Think of this as your shortcut to getting a real feel for how these related languages work, the similarities and the tricky bits.
And that's really the goal, isn't it? If you're curious about language, or maybe you're actually thinking about learning German or Dutch,
Right.
seeing these patterns, both the familiar stuff and the completely new stuff, it's just incredibly helpful.
Speeds things up.
Absolutely. Spotting these connections can really accelerate understanding. You get those aha moments,
Totally. Makes learning feel less like a chore.
Exactly. More like discovery.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Where do they actually align? It's kind of surprising sometimes. Let's start with something basic. Plural formation.
Right. Making more than one of something.
In English, it's usually pretty simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
We tend to just slap an S or S on the end. 1 book, 2 books.
Yeah, pretty straightforward for the most part. What's fascinating here is that German, even with its reputation for being complex,
Yeah.
often does something similar. It adds endings like en, sometimes even s, so you get die Katze becoming die Katzen.
Okay, so there's a link there.
There is that shared Germanic root. But, and this is a big but,
Oh,
German plurals can be really irregular, famously so. You often just have to learn them case by case, noun by noun.
okay. It's not quite as simple as English.
Not always, no. It's
Yeah.
almost like linguistic fossils, these variations. They hint at older, more complex grammar.
Interesting. And what about Dutch? The sources say it's closer to English here.
Yeah, definitely closer. Dutch usually adds n or s, so kat becomes katten.
Katten, okay.
It feels quite familiar if you're coming from English. It's a sort of gentler introduction compared to some of the German irregularities.
So that shared mechanism is a good starting point. A bit of familiar ground.
Precisely. Even if German adds a layer of complexity, the basic idea is there across all 3.
All right. Now here's where it gets, I think, really interesting too, another area where they line up quite nicely. The present simple tense for facts.
Ah, yes, just stating things that are true.
In English, it's simple. Present tense. I live in Amsterdam. Done.
Clean and clear.
And German.
German does basically the same thing. Ich wohne in Amsterdam.
Ich wohne.
And notice the verb wohnen, it sits in the second position in the sentence. That's pretty standard for German main clauses.
Verb second. Got it. Does that verb second thing ever feel weird for English speakers,
Oh.
even for simple facts? Sometimes our structure is a bit more flexible, maybe?
That's a good question. For basic statements like this, it usually feels quite natural, quite parallel to English, actually. The potential awkwardness comes more in complex sentences, perhaps. But for simple facts, it's very consistent.
And Dutch follows suit here, too.
And it does perfectly. Ik woon in Amsterdam. Again, the verb woon is right there in second place.
Ik woon.
Okay.
So yeah, all 3 are pretty aligned here. Expressing basic facts, present tense, similar structure. It definitely helps when you're starting out.
That's really useful. Okay, so we've seen some common ground, some comfort zones. But now we need to switch gears. Let's talk about the divergences. The places where English speakers really need to, adjust their thinking.
Right. That's different moments.
Exactly. Let's dive headfirst into gendered nouns. This is a big one.
Oh, yeah.
Because in English, nouns don't really have gender, do they? I mean, grammatically. The table, the chair, the sun, they're just it.
Exactly. No grammatical gender attached. But this raises an important question, doesn't it? For an English speaker, how much of a mental shift is needed to suddenly deal with gender?
It sounds like a lot. Well, take German. It has 3 genders. Masculine, which uses der, feminine die, and neuter das.
Der, die, das.
Okay. So it's der Tisch, masculine table, but die Sonne, feminine sun.
The sun is feminine. Okay.
And the crucial thing is you have to learn the gender with the noun. You just have to.
Why? What difference does it make?
Because it changes the articles, the words, and often the endings on adjectives describing the noun. It affects the whole sentence structure around the noun.
Whoa. So it's not just memorizing Tisch means table?
Nope. It's memorizing der Tisch. It basically doubles the initial vocabulary load.
Yeah.
I still remember trying to order coffee in Berlin my first time. and getting the gender wrong felt like a huge deal. It shows how fundamental it is in German.
That sounds intimidating.
It can be at first. Now Dutch. Dutch offers some relief here.
Okay. How so?
It's simpler. It mainly distinguishes between die, which covers both masculine and feminine, often just called common gender, and het for neuter.
De and het.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mostly, yeah. So it's de tafel the table and also de zon the sun, both de.
Ah, okay. So D does a lot of the work.
It does. Dutch has kind of shed that complex three-gender system that German retains. It's easier than German, definitely, but you still need to learn if a noun is der or het. It's not quite English-level simple.
Right. Still a step beyond English.
Okay.
So that's gender. What's next on the divergence list?
Word order. Specifically, word order in subordinate clauses.
Ah, yes. The clauses that depend on another part of the sentence, like, I know that you are tired.
Exactly. And in English, notice the order in that second part. Subject you, verb are, adjective tired. Pretty standard SVO, subject, verb, object, or complement.
Right. Stays consistent?
Well, not in German. What's fascinating here, and maybe a bit notorious, is that German subordinate clauses shove the main verb, the conjugated verb, right to the very end.
To the end. Really?
Right to the end. So I know that you are tired becomes Ich weiß, dass du müde bist.
Dass du müde bist. Wow. Bist arhist.
Exactly. It's the classic verb final rule, or V2 rule, turning into V final in these clauses. It's like the verb is the final punctuation mark of the thought.
That must take some getting used to. You're waiting for the main action until the very end.
It really does. It requires a fundamental shift in how you process the sentence, especially when listening. You have to hold the beginning in your head while waiting for the verb.
Okay. And Dutch. Does it do the same thing?
It does, yes. Very similar pattern. Ik weet dat je moe bent.
That you move at.
Mm-hmm.
At the end again.
Mm-hmm. So German and Dutch line up here, but they both stand in pretty stark contrast to English word order in these clauses. It's a major hurdle, but understanding it is key to sounding fluent.
Definitely a key difference to flag. All right. One more major divergence point. Cases.
Cases. The bane of many German learners.
Yeah, sounds scary. In English, again, things seem simpler. If I say, I see the man, or I give the book to the man, the word the doesn't change, does it?
Nope. This stays the. The man's role, whether he's being seen or receiving something, is shown by word order or prepositions like to.
Right.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, German is different. It has 4 cases: nominative, accusative, dative, and genitive.
Okay, 4 cases. What do they actually do?
Think of them as grammatical labels. They mark the noun's job in the sentence. Is it the subject doing the action? That's nominative. Is it the direct object receiving the action? Accusative. Indirect object. Dative. Showing possession. Genitive.
Right.
And these cases change the articles, like the or a, and often adjective endings too. So back to your example, I see the man. In German, the man is the direct object, so it's accusative. The masculine article there changes to den.
So it's not ich sehe den Mann.
No, it's ich sehe den Mann.
Den Mann. Wow. So you have to track the noun's job and its gender and change the words around it.
Pretty much. It adds another layer of grammatical information, a kind of precision that English achieves differently. It's a significant cognitive load, as you said earlier.
It really sounds like it. What about Dutch? Please tell me it's simpler.
It is. Much simpler. Modern Dutch has basically ditched cases in everyday speech.
Really?
Completely. Largely, yes. So I see the man is just ik zie de man.
Ik zie de man. This stays dead.
Exactly. No change. You might find remnants of cases in some old-fashioned or fixed expressions like proverbs or something.
Okay.
But for normal conversation, it's much closer to English in this respect. Dutch has really simplified compared to German here. It shows that language evolution, that analytic drift away from complex endings.
That's a huge difference between German and Dutch then. Makes Dutch seem a bit less daunting on that front.
It generally is regarding cases, yes.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. What does this all mean for you listening as an English speaker?
Well, we've looked at 5 key areas.
Right. 2, where things are pretty similar.
Yeah.
How plurals are often formed, and using the present simple tense for facts gives you a bit of a head start.
Exactly. Familiar territory.
And then 3 big areas where German and Dutch, especially German, diverge quite sharply from English.
Gendered nouns, dir, die,
That's
das in German, die het in Dutch. word order and subordinate clauses, that verb at the end thing in both German and Dutch.
Right. And finally, case is a big deal in German, but much less so in modern Dutch.
Understanding these specific points where the overlaps are and where the major differences lie really helps you navigate the learner's process. You know where to expect comfort and where you'll need to, focus your mental energy.
Yeah, it sets expectations realistically.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought to leave you with.
Okay.
Consider how just recognizing these kinds of underlying patterns, the similarities, the differences, the way languages borrow and change, how that awareness might change how you approach learning any language.
That's interesting.
It really highlights how dynamic language is, constantly evolving. Maybe start noticing these things when you hear German or Dutch, or even look for patterns in other languages. It turns language exposure into, mini linguistic discoveries.
A great way to think about it. It's not just rules, but a living system.
Precisely.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into comparative grammar. Thanks for walking us through that.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us. We hope this helps spark your curiosity and maybe aids your own language learning journey. Until next time.